Hey, 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 it's the Let's Do This Halloween special.
I know you sit up there like, what the hell is going on, man?
I was like, all right, here comes the lawsuit. Yeah.
Hey, we ain't been sued yet. We ain't gonna get sued by this point. We ain't big enough for anybody to know us.
I have a feeling this year we just may be. Somebody's gonna listen.
Do you remember this special, man?
I always try to forget, but yes, of course I remember this special. Yeah.
Of course, everybody. That's from the Fat Albert Halloween special.
In case you kids didn't know,
In case you
youngsters
can't tell
out
about
there.
It's the Halloween special. How's co-host doing today?
Doing all right, Mr. Coleman.
Oh, thank you very much, man.
Got your Halloween costume all ready for the festivities.
This is my face, man. Why you talking about me like that, brother?
Oh, excuse me.
Hey, everybody. Of course, this is not the Fat Albert or LTD Halloween special. No, this is the Spooktacular Savings.
That's right. The
Halloween special extravaganza.
You've been waiting for it. It's finally here.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Out. You need to tell that dude he needs to quit falling asleep on that goddamn one.
That's that cat walking on that keyboard, man. Again. Hey, man. You know, every year we look forward to this. Everybody, I'm Corey Coleman.
That's right. And I'm you tell him who I am.
We have the Creeptastic co-host 3000 over here.
All right.
Yes. Yes. Co-host, how are you today?
I'm the only robot.
Should I say?
I'm the only robot that howls.
And you know what? I don't want to bother him, but we got a special guest over here.
We have a very special guest.
Very special guest. So everybody knows this man from around the internet. He's what they call one of them YouTube celebrities, man.
Oh yeah.
We have Mr. Can I say your name right now, Mr. He's like, yeah, man. What you think I'm here for? We have Mr. Creepypasta in the house.
Yeah.
Yes. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah.
You know, he's like, okay.
Yeah. That's definitely him, though.
No,
yeah.
that's him.
I wasn't expecting him to sound like Fat Albert when he came in the room.
Hey, guys. You expected a guy to come in and be like, good evening. But he's like, I'm all right.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a scary person.
No,
he just tells scary stories.
That's right, man. Now, let me tell people a little bit about yourself right here. Actually, now, if this is your first Spooktacular savings that you've had, everybody knows that who's listening to this that on LTD. Let's do this. We love Halloween.
Oh, we effing love it. Yes.
When did you become so family friendly? Are you trying to get permission from him?
Get Creepypasta. Do you mind if we use the language of harsher realms?
Oh, he told you, didn't he?
Goddamn right he did. That motherfucker told me straight up.
Yeah, we fucking love Halloween.
Fucking love it. That's
we fuck Halloween if we can do it.
I fuck it right now. Where is it?
Halloween, come here. Bend over.
Creepypasta just left.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be a good show.
Oh man, it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun, my friend. You are not very familiar with what we do here, but if you would have known, you probably wouldn't have told your girl to come. I know. You got Miss Creepy Rainbow back there.
Yeah. You step right into the bathroom of the. Oh wait, no, maybe that's the only room we got left.
That's the only room we have left. We don't
creepy
have that
bathroom.
Yeah, we're in a very tight space right here, and I appreciate you coming through. Now,
definitely
for Halloween, we actually love to sit here and just talk about Halloween memories. We do Halloween activities here. We have some Halloween coloring books right here. Some crowns for you. No, we don't got that. He was excited. Really?
I want to do coloring.
No. You know what? We'll get you one, man.
Okay,
cool. I'll tell you what. I would be more than happy to get you one because my man here. Now, people said, you know what, Corey? You know what, co-host?
What?
What
they say?
They said, Corey, you live in Texas, man, and you're about to have your Spooktacular savings. And they said, you know who you should get to come on there? And I said, who? I didn't say it to anybody particular. I just said, who? And they said, Mr. Creepypasta. And I said, now, why you say that besides him being creepy? They said, well, he lives in Texas. Some people thought you actually lived in Austin.
I thought you lived on the other side.
Yeah.
The spirit world.
That actually gets rid of the illusion that I've been trying to set. Everybody generally thinks that I live in Pennsylvania.
Really? They think you live like in a castle, you going through?
No, I even got contacted by like a newspaper in Pennsylvania that was like, hey, I'm doing local news. Did you want to do an interview? And I'm like, I don't. live there. Sure.
If you're gonna fly me over there, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why the hell not?
How much?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have an appearance fee for anything like that.
Oh,
do you?
God,
I don't
no.
know. Okay, all right.
Well, you should. I have one, $5,000, but I haven't gotten an interview
He's a
yet.
goddamn loud too.
Yeah.
Let me see your microphone. Make sure that everything's working. Oh yeah, that's on. Okay, yeah. I just want to make sure you're being heard, man.
Okay, because
Now-
it'd be weird if like you guys are just talking, there's nothing there.
and there's nothing there. I mean, might add to the illusion of you actually being creepy. And
One of us
somebody's
will.
voice.
One of us will just fill in for you, pretty much. That's kind of how it works.
No, I was gonna say if you got an appearance fee, you can just get the hell on out of here right now because we ain't got nothing for you. We can give you a box of cereal. That's about it. But
we got plenty of that.
So people thought that you were actually from Pennsylvania. Somebody in Pennsylvania contacted you.
Yeah. Okay. On the illusion that I set is that I'm from Centralia, Pennsylvania. If you know where that is.
Centralia?
Yeah, Centralia.
Is that an actual place or some shit
It
you
is.
made up?
No. If Centralia is an actual place. The video games, the movie, Silent Hill, and all that are set up to be from Centralia, where there's a burning coal fire that makes the whole place covered in mist and super
Really?
spooky and
Corey, you
crazy
should know
and all
that. You love that game. You have
you
all
should
of
know
them. I only got that first game. That was came out what 1985.
That's the one that counts, man. That's the one that actually set the tone. So that's the place that Silent Hill is actually based on.
Yeah, I mean, the whole place is, you can't actually go there. It's all blocked off on the roads. You'd have to go around it.
Well, you can go there,
Well,
but you have to die.
Yeah.
He's like, man, leave the scary shit to me. Shut your ass up.
He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's not true at all.
No, they do the air raid siren there and everything.
Really?
Yeah, they play it at night to make sure that people don't go near the town because the gas that comes up, you'll die if you sit around there for too long.
See, you
So
telling me this means that dumb motherfuckers like me will probably try to go there.
Because okay, it's in the movie, so everyone's like, I gotta go there now. I gotta go to this town and see what it's like and walk around there and see if I can find Pyramid Head and all that shit. But it's stupid.
Yeah.
Well,
That's probably where I'll go.
yeah. Thanks for reminding us. Yeah, you tell us not to do something stupid, and guess what? We're gonna do it.
We're going to do it.
I'm honestly shocked no kid has died yet. Going, man, that's all bullshit. Now I'm gonna cross this fence.
Yeah. Shit, I'm going to Silent Hill, motherfucker. Ain't nobody tell me I can't go.
I'm gonna sleep there all month. Fuck them.
Yeah, exactly. Shit, Pinhead gonna talk to me tonight.
The only one who's gonna die is the motherfucker telling me not to go there.
Yeah. Find your fucking dead body the next day and shit. But that's interesting, man. Now, one of the reasons we want to have you here is because I've listened to some of your stories. And he's like, oh, you have? Yeah, man, yeah.
I honestly don't think people listen to them. They just keep the thing going. They forget they leave it on.
Well, here's the deal, man. You get millions of hits on your on like. Come here, stop being trying to be fucking modest, all right? Sitting up here with that fake shit. Sitting up here, I didn't know anybody listened. Please, you get millions of hits on your stories, so I've definitely heard them before. And I went on a marathon, actually. I've actually listened to them sporadically before, but the night that people said I should call you and have you on the show for you to read one of your stories, I did a whole marathon of some of your stuff. And the cool thing about what you do on YouTube is that, a lot of people think initially what you would do probably wouldn't work because it's mostly just audio with a still picture over it. But people love scary shit, man.
Oh yeah, and they love that scary ass imagery. Which I wanted to ask you, like, where do you find that imagery to incorporate into your videos? Because I mean, that does a number on me. Listening to your story, while that imagery starts to like slowly move at odd places during your story, I'm like, do you really think? Do you incorporate that in your story? I mean, do you really like stop and go, okay, this is where I need to fuck with the picture at some point?
Oh, that's right, because in your
yeah.
pictures, like, this is what scared the shit out of me. I was listening one day, and this is cool what you do. I was listening, I was sitting back, and I had the lights off and everything, and you had your creepy voice on. You were talking like this, and I was already kind of sitting there already scared, looking on my shoulder and shit. And then I looked over my computer like, oh shit, that picture moving. You kind of mess with the picture a little bit and distort it slowly and gradually to where you think that you're already kind of hooked into what you're saying, and you start thinking that your mind is fucking with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think that's pretty cool what you do with the limited stuff that you do on YouTube, man.
Well, where do you find those pictures?
Where do you
by
find
the
your
way?
pictures?
Well, the pictures come from like different places. Sometimes they're stock images that I'll end up finding around different places. I have a bunch of other artists that I work with also that'll end up doing photos for certain things. Like if I absolutely need like something like Pokemon related or whatever, then one of my artists will go through. They'll do some creepy looking drawing that could be able to work. I have a couple of other people that do different effects. That will do some animation effects and such for us. They always turn out fantastic. Like the one on Halloween that's coming up, it's fantastic animations that go on, or the opening bumpers he does for me. It's Will Hyde Productions. Or they're just like real photos that I can just go into Photoshop and add a little shadow into, or add a nice little creepy effect into them. And honestly, the warping that happens, that's all just like fucking Windows
Please,
Movie
could you
Maker.
keep this family friendly? We asked you before.
No, it's all just like Windows Movie Maker. Like the first ones that happen, they just warp. Nope, I just threw in an image and dragged in an effect, and there it goes.
And your broken image thing, it's all accidents. You know, like,
He's using
damn it.
Corel paint and shit.
I know. I was like, wow. When you tell those stories and that imagery starts to move, I mean, you must have that calculated right at the point where you're getting into the story. No, it just computer just fucked up. That's just a glitch. That's what you get for using Windows 95.
Yeah, man.
Well, it works. Whatever happens by accident, it's working.
Yeah, glad it worked out for you. It's very effective. I tell you, man, a lot of people look at you and they look at your girl. What you doing back there? Are you all right? You okay? I want to make sure that you okay because we don't want to bore you or anything. That's his girl back there. You gotta. Am I allowed to speak on this?
Yeah,
No.
sure,
Okay.
why not?
No.
Go
He's
for
like, you got that look on your face, like, God damn it, I didn't want you to say it.
Like, I'd rather you
I didn't
not,
want you to say
but
anything.
I don't have much of a choice.
I mean, do people know that you have a Miss Creepy Rainbow?
No, actually, like a lot of the like my personal life, I try to kind of keep away from my.
Okay, did I just ruin your game?
No, I don't care that much. It's just that's just one of those kind of things. A lot of my personal life stuff, I kind of like separate up from what I do, for the most part.
Oh, we're sorry. Every single girl just left his website. You know?
Yeah.
Damn it.
So when we see a girl, we get all excited.
60% females, all drop.
Yeah, you should have seen me when he walked in with his girl. He's like, "Hi, I'm Mr. Girl. Yeah, man. Well, who's this back here?"
See, Corey dressed up as a cock blocker this year. A little too early. So, put that costume away,
God.
Corey.
And I like the way you asserted yourself. You got right between us and said, "Yeah, this is my girlfriend right here." And I was like, "Oh," and I didn't even speak to her anymore after that. I was like, "Oh, you don't exist to me anymore. Come on in, man."
I thought you were bringing in your agent or something.
Yeah.
Like, man, this guy's serious.
Yeah, and you can bring whoever this is with you too. No, I didn't. She's very lovely. She's very nice, and I hope you're not getting offended right now.
Oh, no,
we're
not
just
at all.
joking around.
Can I ask this kid something?
Go ahead. I like the way you just offended him. Like, can I ask this boy
I
something?
call
right
everybody kids.
Hey, kid.
Can I ask Kid Pasta something?
Hey, can I ask Chef Boy ID something?
Let me ask this guy something. I want to know, like, what got you into just telling stories on the internet? Like, what really just made you wake up and go, I got to be doing this?
I did it for a girl.
Is she in the room?
Always for a girl. Not that. No, sorry, sweetie.
She knows the story like inside and out. But like, no.
And she
gave you
hates
a-
it.
I know
She
she
fucking
gave you a
hates
look.
it back there. She's
Shit.
already getting like, oh.
That was a creepy ass look she gave you. Just
God, better tell the PG rated version of that story.
when she looked at you, she said, I was like, go ahead.
Yeah.
The sound effects you have, man. I did like years ago. A girl that I had dated years ago. She was a big film person, big into horror. Like the whole thing was we did horror stuff, and she like the relationship went sour. And I was trying to find something to be like, oh, I do a lot of horror stuff still. We can still do horror stuff together. So I started reading stories on the internet. And she told me, no, you suck at this. You should stop doing that. You're horrible at it. You don't have a lot of emotion into it. You need to cut that out.
Really?
Like,
Wow.
Yeah. Like it wasn't gonna.
What
this
a
isn't gonna go
bitch.
anywhere.
Yeah. Screw her.
Well, I listened to her. I stopped doing it for a while. Left it for a couple of months, and then just took a look at it a little bit later. I was like, oh, there's actually people watching these. I'll do,
Oh,
like,
wow.
one or two more, I guess, and then
And then here you are.
2 years later, yeah.
Now, you didn't end up going back out with that girl. Like that's
Oh, God, no.
Okay, all
No.
right.
I was about to say, it's usually the other way. It's usually her crawling back.
Yeah.
Going, hey, what do I know?
Oh, she comes back after you got some fame. She's like, you know, I always knew you could do it. I always believed in you, Mr. Pasta.
I was always rooting for you. I'll write your stories this time.
Oh, God, no.
I love you.
Trust me, if I went anywhere near that girl again, every single person I know back where I'm from would just beat the crap out.
Be another horror story. Be a true horror story.
That'd be a story you could tell on the show. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I destroyed her. Oh, that was the wrong side effect.
That's on his way to destroying her.
Yeah.
That's a walking music.
Yeah, there he is. On his way to sit. Baby, I made it.
Mr. Confident Creepypasta coming your way.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Hey, bitch! I made it big today, bitch.
Hey, man. Now, you don't have to answer this, but you're looking at that laugh. You look like Alan now. You know how Alan starts laughing?
Yeah.
That quiet look on his face. Got that, I'm trying to take a shit, but it ain't coming out. Look.
That's a friend of ours, by the way. Who
Yeah.
we're talking about.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we have a regular guest on the show, Alan. He's pretty much a regular, but he just comes in when he wants. He's like a cat.
He's more irregular than regular.
Yeah. But if you don't mind me asking you,
Yeah.
and you can say, shut the fuck up, I'm not going to answer this, but do you make a living on YouTube now?
Yeah, I do. Okay. That is like my only job right now is what I do is I was on YouTube.
Man. Oh, man.
See?
How...
Keep telling you.
What, y'all don't make a living doing this?
No, we do the website, and that's how we make our living.
If we
on the
can
website.
only learn how to work YouTube, maybe at some point. Yeah.
We had so many problems with YouTube. I'll tell you the thing, maybe you can give me some insight here.
Yeah.
You think, yeah, you want to talk about some real horror. Let me tell you some real terror right here. Once upon a time. No, okay, I'm going to cut this shit out. He looking at me like, man, just tell the fucking story.
It's another intro.
God damn, I got to hear this shit from everybody. Hey, Mr. Creepypasta. Yeah, all right, fuck you, man. But
He's not accepting applications right
There's
now.
a reason I don't show my face, man.
you should have seen me. I was talking to Coles before you came in. Hey, man, look, let me get my scary voice on. You think gonna like it? Yeah, Mr. Creepypasta.
You're gonna creep him out because he's gonna think you're trying to pick him up or something.
I know. Hey, baby. You gonna hire me, man? Hey, I can tell stories too. So listen, man, your girl must think we some retarded motherfuckers. She keeps laughing and shaking her head back there like, damn, why did we come here?
It's just Uncle Corey telling stories.
Oh, this is gonna be some real shit here. These two goofballs in a bedroom, which we call the Spill Studio.
I know, right? Yes, welcome to the Spill Studios.
But the thing is that we had a YouTube channel. We still do, but we were doing all right with it. But there was a time. Now, what we do are movie reviews on there.
Yeah.
And we are getting busted every week for having clips in our videos. Now, we are legally able to use those. They say that, as long as you're using these for critiques and whatever, it's fine. And we've been doing that for years. All of a sudden, studios are sending interns, or YouTube has a bot or something that notices these clips, and we can't monetize any of them. And because of that, we had one of our YouTube channels, for some stupid reason, just got totally suspended. This happened at our job. It wasn't even me. And so while that channel was growing, we couldn't even use it anymore. So now we're not making any kind of money off of it. And the growth of it got stunted because of we had to start over again. Yeah.
Isn't that a terrifying story?
Oh
Mr.
God!
Creepypasta?
No, trust me. I've seen that like countless times, and that's like my biggest fear right now. Is like, since I make a living on YouTube, if my channel gets suspended, I'm done.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Gotta get a real job, boy.
Yeah. I don't want to work.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I
don't blame you either.
But I can understand. Now, let me get this straight: are your stories from other people, or are they?
Well, before you go, wait a minute, hold on. I want to hear what advice you had to give on this.
It kind of depends on how you're running your channel. If you have a major company that's backing your channel, then usually they can have some kind of connection to Google, And as long as you have
See?
When did this turn into a comedy?
Well, that's
we
why
have a company that could give that acts like they could give a fuck less about that YouTube channel.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was asking you about your content as far as you getting it from people and you doing it yourself, because that's something you wouldn't have to worry about if you were, say, using content, that existing content out there that already was copyrighted.
Well, yeah. See, where it comes down to like the Creepypasta narrator community that we have, it's not till recently that the YouTube bot started picking up the problem, like a lot of different copyright things. Like every so often now, it'll start giving some people some crap about, oh, well, the still image you used looked like a scene from a film. And then they'll start shutting off people from monetizing their videos, which is just incredibly stupid. Wow. Because it's a still image. But the stories that I do are generally written by other people that are submitted to me. That way I always have their express written their permission to be able to do their stories, unless I write like an audio drama myself, and then I have my own permission to use my own story. The music I all do is done by either they're written for me to use by Muji, or they're royalty-free music that's written for people to use on YouTube. And now YouTube actually has a full library of music that you can use for free.
It's like public domain.
Yeah, which is nice. But in like any case of like anybody that just has a regular channel that's not partnered, you need to have a larger company, like a partnership company, that's actually able to talk to Google for you. Otherwise, if you're running it as like a private channel that just you use, Google's going to screw you over, and there's nobody you can talk to about it. They suspend your channel, it's just fucked.
Wow, that's us. I told you we might as well just be fishing right now.
We've been making more money doing that.
I make a lot more money.
I mean, we're lucky that this is what we do for a living, but we have a parent company, another website that you know helps us out, and we get advertising there and whatnot. So, you know, but the YouTube channel could really be a good thing for us if we could just utilize it right. I'm thinking about people. See, I feel stuck because people say, you know, you're known for doing movie reviews. Don't stop doing it. But I want to just stop doing that shit completely.
Really?
Well, because we can't because of the clips we can't monetize. Oh, okay.
Well, I love whenever you tell anybody that, and they always look at you like, "Why would you do that? That's crazy."
And now you can hear why. Or is it crazy?
Well, the fact that we are known for being a movie website, so it would be. Even though we do other things, yet our audience is always like, that's how they got to know us. That's like if Creepypasta all of a sudden said, you know what, I don't want to do scary stories anymore. I'm gonna do movie reviews. I'm gonna start doing skate videos. I mean,
nobody wants to see that.
Well, that's the thing we worry about too. Where I'm like, you know, at least for me, coming from where I stand, I'm like, I know that our audience is built into the fact that we do movies, but I'm also worried that sometimes that the ones who do want to venture out more into different things, you know, hopefully they will follow us because, you know, I can see a lot of people on the internet. Usually they want one specific thing all the time, all year long, because here's the thing I try to tell you, Corey. Sometimes with the internet, change is not good. People do not like change.
Oh, I know that. You don't want to tell me. I see that every day.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about I'm thinking about doing? Just create another YouTube channel to do something separately on.
Maybe we can tell creepy stories and have images.
Yeah. And get Windows 95. And
that's right.
Have the glitch in there, warp them a little bit.
Yeah, put me out of business.
Yeah.
This is why we really had you here. To kill you. No, man. It's, you know, I think I have a lot of admiration for you and anybody else has actually found a niche and is making money doing what they do. It's actually pretty cool. So that's, you know, congratulations, man.
Yeah, I know. And I want to salute you in your working hours, which I'm sure is like, what, 5 minutes a day or something?
Oh, God, no.
Oh, so okay. Yeah.
This is the thing that, like, a lot of people, especially when I tell them, like, yeah, I make a living doing scary stories, they always make the assumption that, like, oh, well, then you just read something. It's like,
that's what I thought.
No. Well, like,
that's what it seems like to me.
If there's a story on my channel that's, like, say, 20 minutes, that 20 minutes is actually about 40 minutes of me reading, like actually in a booth, just recording what I have to say. And then it's about another 8 or 9 hours of me cleaning up that audio, making sure that there's no mistakes in it anymore, making sure that it's actually nice and audible, going in, finding music for it, putting all the sound effect clips in where they should go, all of this. Like the editing process of like one story that I do is actually a fair amount of time and work that I have to put into it. Given I'm probably not working 40 hours a week, but I'm
By the way, that's a compliment.
But
That could be your next show.
You don't want to do motherfucking, man? That's a good show.
I'm already ready to subscribe.
Yeah.
Where's that button?
Let's do it, man. All right, I'm sorry.
No, but it is a fair amount of work to be able to put out a video that's like, everyone's like, well, it's just like 5 minutes. You sit out on the booth and you read a story and you put it out. You find a random track of music. It's actually a lot more work than that.
What's the other work that goes into it?
It goes like actually finding music that's able to fit. You can't just use. That's a lot of a problem that like I notice a lot of like the younger narrators that are trying to do the same thing in the community. They always believe that like if you just find any piano music, you just throw it in, it sounds scary, you'll use it. It doesn't work that way. Doing like I mean, and you guys know this because you do an audio podcast, like that. It's actually a matter of like. You matching sound, matching music to any kind of part of your podcast is actually a major part of making it cinematic and in audio in the same way that you would do with film.
We actually don't do that.
Oh, well,
He just pushes a button, just praying to God that we get the right whatever.
Well, that it actually records.
We're lucky if we actually record the show.
Yeah.
I pray to God we're recording right now. Yeah.
No, I mean like if you guys do movie reviews, like if you're watching a horror film, then you know like you're not going to have like I don't know some kind of strange orchestrated like gallop in the background when during like a high tense scene. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't make things scary that way. I mean, you could have the best radio voice in the world and it's not going to be audibly scary. So a lot of people don't quite understand that making things cinematic is a lot of playing with sound effects, putting sound effects where they're necessary, taking them out where they're not necessary.
It's just like a director.
Yeah.
You're directing a film. Yeah, you want to make sure everything works. Well, since this is the Halloween episode,
Yes.
with the bayous are down from the real and the unreal, your stories, what makes a perfect story for you in order for it to be on the air?
For it to be on the air?
Yeah. When you go through picking your stories, because I'm sure you get, I mean, how many submissions do you get stories, a day?
I get at least another new 15, 20 emails of different stories a day. So, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, even on my channel, I've done a fair amount of crap. But for a story to be actually good, there has to be suspense to it. It can't just be, a senseless amount of gore. Like, yeah, he walked in, he cut somebody up. There was blood across the walls and all that shit. There's got to be that build-up that makes you actually nervous about what exactly this person is or what exactly makes what could he do versus what he does that actually makes a story scary, which is like the story that I picked out for you guys. There's a lot of gore in these, but it has a lot of build up to it first before we actually get down to what's going to make people sick.
Nice.
All right, man. That got me all excited about this story that you're going to read. I'm going to leave people in suspense, though. We'll get to the story later.
Okay.
And it's been nice talking to you, man. It's been nice hearing about everything you do. I know we've been joking around a lot, but I do truly find that inspirational what you do.
I love the fact that you make money off it.
That's what I'm impressed with.
Yeah, that's
Fuck these stories.
Wow.
You make money.
Teach me how to make money.
Please, sir. I'm hungry.
Yeah. When are you going to do that infomercial? Make hundreds of dollars like me. While you're telling everybody on your nice big yacht.
Yeah. I got this yacht by reading scary stories. You can't too. Well, I turned you Jewish. I don't know, man. That's what it got to me. I can't. Now, I can't describe you in any kind of way, right? Because you want the mystique to be left up to people's imaginations.
No, I mean, you can give it a shot if you want to. It's just like, yeah, a lot of I never actually show off what I look like for the most part. I think I've shown off my eyes. I've shown off the lower part of my jaw, but that's it. Nobody else knows what I look like.
Okay, because let me tell you what my expectations were.
Okay.
Because after listening to your stories, I expected like a 55-year-old balding hunchback white guy to come through the door.
Yeah, only in his underwear.
Yeah. You got one part of your shirt tucked in, other sticking out. Yeah. You got your ring in your hands, and you're like, "Hi, Corey, greetings." You know that.
You have actually pasta and spaghetti
sauce on your shirt. I actually expect you to be eating a bowl of macaroni when you came in.
I'm gonna do that now. Every single time I have to make a public appearance, I'm gonna go through and like put on makeup to make myself look
Going
different.
creepy white face.
Yeah, creepy white face.
Hey, wait a minute! You can't do that. We copyrighted that.
And I thought when you came up, no offense, I thought you were the cab driver. Actually, I thought, is he out there in the car? No, I'm kidding. I'm joking, man. I'm joking. No, what is your ethnicity, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm actually half Chinese and I'm half black.
half Chinese and half black.
Oh, damn! I thought you like me. I'm half Japanese, half Mexican.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's what I'm a robot. So they'll add it. Yeah.
All robot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, that's funny. Now, who's the black parent? Who's the white parent?
Oh, my dad's black. My mom's Chinese. From
Oh,
Taiwan.
look at that. Yeah. Mama had to have some of that dog meat, didn't she?
Well, I was gonna say like.
Let's not go.
Well, I have to admit though,
I'm proud of this. I creeped him out. Look at that. He's like,
he's like, oh god.
please.
Don't bring that up. Well, I like the fact that they got together and they made a Mexican. Which I'm sure. Do you get that? Do people think you're Mexican when they see you?
Oh, okay. I do. I've done a couple of live things like on my channels where you can see my arms and you can see the color of my skin. Everyone still says, now you can tell he's white. I'm like, I'm like,
White?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm a white guy that tans every day, I suppose.
Tans badly every day.
Do you tell stories at the school for the blind? God damn, anybody can look at you and tell you are not white. I mean, I don't care how long you've been out in the sun. You are not white, man.
What are you
That's
using?
a story for your ass right there.
Like you're using that spray tan or something.
When you gonna read that story? The white man who looked brown.
I know. That's him running out of the room.
Yeah, man.
Well,
I
hey.
mean, I don't know about that. I mean, I'm not saying it's not bad to look either way or anything like that. I don't have
yeah.
a preference. I'm just saying you don't look that way to me.
No, there's anybody who actually gets I guess maybe it's my face, but like my skin tone, yeah, I'm not white.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
you're not.
Now, who actually called you white? Who thought that?
Oh, I get a lot of comment, like, because I've done like little cooking shows or extra vlogs or things like that on my secondary channel. Mm-hmm. And yeah, people have said like, yeah, you look white in these. Like, I don't think I do, but okay.
All right. I mean,
It's the mystery of who I am.
that's true. That is true. Keep 'em guessing, man.
Corey's trying his best to look white in his videos just so he get more hits. But
I'm trying.
he's sweating all the time under those lights.
Sweating all the time, sitting up there to change my voice and everything. Hello, everybody. Good evening.
More white, Corey. You're scaring the people out there on YouTube.
Oh no! But you know, man, I now to switch things to you, man. And
to
we're gonna
me.
include you in on this, boy. We love talking about Halloween, man.
Oh yes,
That's
we
what
do.
that's what we
sir.
come on here
that's
to
why,
do it
that's,
for.
that's what the show is today.
That's,
yes.
I know. How was your Halloween weekend?
My Halloween weekend was pretty insane and probably the best Halloween weekend I've had in quite a while.
Really, why is that?
Well, went to a Halloween party where I saw a lot of my friends. I saw a few Spilios there too. I dressed up as the kid from Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. I had the pumpkin mask with the bugs and snakes coming out of it. It was an absolute hit, Corey.
I saw it online, man.
Yeah.
The thing is, I didn't even see the name. I saw the mask first, and I said, "That's Cole Hogan."
Thank
Gotta
you.
be him.
Thank you very much. Yeah, but I had a blast with that. But the best thing to happen to me this weekend was actually getting to see one of my favorite horror bands, Goblin. Goblin played here in Austin.
You familiar with Goblin?
Yeah,
Mr. Creepypasta?
Have you ever seen Dawn of the Dead? The original Dawn of the Dead?
original, yeah.
Okay. Have you seen Suspiria?
No.
Okay, well, if you've seen Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead, the music in Dawn of the Dead was done by this Italian group called Goblin. They did a lot of Dario Argento films. Are you familiar with Dario Argento? Oh my God, this guy! This
How
guy.
you gonna read scary? How you gonna call yourself creepy? Forget the pasta. How you gonna be called creepy? You don't know Suspiria, Zombie, or
You know what, Corey?
Goblin.
He's gonna know tonight.
That's
'Cause
right.
I'm gonna handcuff this guy, and I'm gonna put him down in my basement, and we're gonna watch all this shit.
Pull some redneck shit on you now.
Oh, you're gonna love
about
it.
to get an education, boy.
Oh, you're gonna love where I'm taking you, son.
Call yourself creepy. You ain't creepy.
80s horror, man. Those are like
Oh
80s
yeah,
horror.
yeah.
It is hard. That's some of the best horror, man.
That's right. Come down to my fruit cellar, and I'll show you all the greats. Yeah. But no, they played for 2 nights during the Phil Anselmo Housecore horror film festival that they had going here all weekend, which they had a lot of hardcore bands play, along with a lot of just the old school cinema, like I Spit on Your Grave. They had Cannibal Holocaust, where actually the director I believe the director of Cannibal Holocaust was there hanging out. He was definitely there during the Goblin show. But yeah, man, Goblin, they just finished up their tour. But if you ever get a chance, do your best to go out and see them perform live. The first night they played, they performed songs from Dawn of the Dead, Zombie, which was amazing, Suspiria, and another song from a film that I love called Tenebrae. I hope I'm saying it right, Tenebrae. And the second night they played, they performed live the entire score of Suspiria while Suspiria was playing on the movie screen. It was a live performance of the actual soundtrack, which was just amazing. And these guys are like in their 60s, so
they look like zombies.
They look like zombies. Yeah, they're dressed up in their leather pants with their big gray hair and just rocking out. But man, that's something I never thought I'd ever see in my lifetime, because that was just a group I don't think that ever really performed a lot. But man, just mind blown seeing that. Great opportunity.
I know. It sounds like that was a lot of fun, man.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I know how much you love that shit, too.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know if there's gonna be a part where we actually get to turn people on to like some of our Halloween music that we like listening to, but yeah, I got a few. I got a couple of zombie songs. I mean, a couple of Goblin songs. I'd love to share with the audience.
You know, yeah, we can do that. Do you want to do that now? Or?
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, if you, I don't know if you want to pull up our good friend YouTube, find some copywritten music on there.
Yeah, we cannot make money with.
We cannot be playing with. Yeah. But if you want to look for Dawn of the Dead's Zombie, that's the name of the song, Zombie. Just type in.
You know what? I think I got it right here.
Yeah, Goblin and Zombie.
And let me see right here.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm familiar with it.
I know you're familiar with this, yeah.
But
I don't have a clue what it is yet.
Yeah,
So.
yeah,
I'd like to hear what horror bands are, because I was about to ask you what kind of music is horror?
Now these guys, these guys actually like they perform. You know, they have guitars, drum, and bass. That's the thing. When you listen to these songs, you're gonna notice a lot of bass. But like I said, Dario Argento, he used this band, and it's the first time I think I've ever heard an actual band contribute, to a horror movie this long in the game. I know, down the road, eventually you notice that Queen, the band was starting to incorporate, music into Flash Gordon. You start noticing bands. I can't remember. I think Muse recently did World War Z. They did some of the music in World War Z.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's an actual band that just did the score for a lot of these horror films back in the day.
Oh, you know what? I didn't really. Let me play this. I found the soundtrack.
Okay.
It's not split up though. It's all one whole video. Let me play. Like, you tell me if this is okay right here.
That's it.
He's up here getting scared. Look at.
You let me know if you're digging this.
I like how triumphant that shit is.
I know. I know. They had that big ass drum there. They had a guy going boom, boom.
Really?
Yeah.
That was his only job?
Yeah, that was his only job.
Just wait a little while and just be like,
boom,
boom, boom.
Oh, he was loving it. Here comes my favorite part with the bass. Check out this bass.
Hey man, wake up! Get the drum.
You can almost see the zombies shambling into a room right now. Here we go.
He said, "Man, this ain't so scary." It's like he said, "I picture a guy wearing a robe coming out looking like Ron Burgundy or something." Hey, baby,
You're killing the mood.
Hey, girl.
Oh Lord!
Can I get you some Cavassier? Hey, I'm gonna tell you something. This is music that was playing when your daddy met your mom.
Oh yeah.
Hey, girl.
That's me.
I love Chinese women. Let me take you to get some egg foo young.
Stories that should never be told.
You'll never hear that on a Creepypasta.
I'm gonna start my own creepypasta channel. Only stories to scare him.
There once was a black man who met a Chinese woman.
He invited him onto his podcast. Oh, here, I like this keyboard right here. Oh shit! Oh,
I love. You know why I love playing this music?
why?
I love the music. I say I know this music, but I love looking at you. Listen to this music. Well, I'm gonna play it again now. Now, Mr. Creepypasta, watch him when I play this. Look at him.
I'm gonna orchestrate this shit for you. It's me on my keyboard, right now. Casio keyboard. Be in 1982. You liking this?
I'm saying this. If you wanted to make money and make a YouTube channel, you should just do this to music, man.
No shit.
You'd make a killing.
Do my orchestration.
Using copyrighted material. Thought you knew how to work this, man.
Hey, they have to catch us first.
Yeah.
I mean, catch me while I'm running.
I like how I'm talking about you. I'm getting into it.
Always turns into a cat doing this shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna break it down. Break it down.
You guys starting a band soon?
Yeah,
We are. Yeah, that's it. You're getting an exclusive right here.
Mr. Creepypasta. God damn it. I love it when you call me Creepypasta. Mr. Creepypasta and the shut the fuck ups. I love this, man.
Oh, dude. You should look for another song called Tenebrae. Remember when I was talking.
I don't know if I know this other song.
You could stop this. Remember when I was telling you we talked about this earlier, and I was telling you that they used during one of their songs they used this mic device that makes it's like a modulator that transforms their voice. They sound like a transformer's like wow.
Sound like Soundwave.
Yeah, Soundwave. Like, what, how are you today, Austin?
You sound like somebody had a stroke.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Meow, on the road again.
You sound like Walt Jr.
I sound Walt
from
Jr. Yeah,
Breaking Bad.
I thought
Yes,
I thought Walt was doing the Walt Jr. was doing like the intro in the backstage or something. I was like, this is awesome. Walt Jr.'s introducing Goblin. Yeah. Best night ever. Yeah, but look up. Just type in Goblin.
Goblin. Okay.
Goblin.
I like how they talking to me like I'm an idiot. Like
Goblin.
I can't. G-O-B.
as in boy.
As in bullshit.
Yeah,
What else?
bullshit.
What else?
And Goblin Tenebrae. T-E-N. It'll probably automatically.
Tenebrae. There it is.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
All right. Tenebrae. Main title by Goblin.
Yes. I love that.
Daft Punk.
Yeah. Daft Punk before Daft Punk. This is from another Argento horror film that you should check out. Creepypasta. Actually, it's about a killer who kills women because of this book that was written. It's a horror book, and this killer reenacts the killings from the book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Makes you want to dance a little too, man. I think this is the song that his parents made down at the club.
I love that hand that comes up whenever we mention that. That one hand comes up like he's about to slap somebody and choke somebody at the same time.
He turned into Mo from the Three Stooges for a second. He's like, why I oughta quiet you.
I think if we even say, man, I'd like some black and Chinese food, he'd be like, God, man, you got to stop saying that shit. God damn it.
I want some egg foo young and some chicken.
Yeah.
What? I told you. Oh man. Here you digging this shit, Corey?
I am.
It's very triumphant also for a horror song. I think this is where they break it down right here, Corey. Check it out. Imagine Fan of the Opera playing this shit.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Oh shit!
you like that? Huh?
This is where the monsters come out to the hustle.
That's right. Yeah.
They come out roller skating.
That's right. Yeah, with the roller skating. Yeah. Roller skating backwards.
Dracula come out in his jumpsuit, breakdancing and shit.
Those bell bottom like silver pants. That's right. That's right. Oh, here you go. Here comes the breakdown. How about? I always wanted to know what he says during this.
I don't think he's saying anything. I think that's what he's saying. No. I think he's eating oatmeal while he's doing
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yeah,
Everybody.
let's do it. Come on, roller skate backwards.
Let's do this.
Yeah, let's
Disco
do it.
Halloween special.
Boo this. Let's boo this. Oh man, I see the Phantom of the Opera playing this shit like boy, like they ain't no tomorrow.
Quasimodo.
Are you enjoying the Halloween special? Oh,
That's my old little part right there.
the Corey Coleman remix.
Yeah. I get down with this shit too.
Yeah, boy.
What you get? Oh, I'm gonna break it down. Listen.
Man, how come these guys aren't suing Daft Punk right now?
All right. Getting way too into this right now.
And that's the Halloween special for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Good night.
Good night.
No, actually, you know something, man? You might have heard a song from Day of the Dead and don't even know it. I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna see if you're familiar with this song. Let me put in a song for you. You ever seen Day of the Dead?
I think I have, honestly.
Let me.
If you hear this, you probably have. Let's see. If you notice this,
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. This is one of my favorite songs that uses a soundtrack from a zombie film.
yeah, this is actually by John Harrison too. If anybody wants to look it up.
You ever heard the song before?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Hello. It's Will Ferrell. Hello.
I think my favorite part's coming up, Rick.
Some people are like, I know this. What is
Yeah. Let it play.
Wait for it to kick in. You're gonna recognize it in a minute. Mr. Creepypasta, like, will somebody answer that motherfucker? Yeah, hello.
Hey, shut the fuck up! trying to do a podcast. That was Creepypasta outside waiting for us to open the door.
Hello. Answer the door, Corey. Hello. I love when that guitar comes in.
Oh, yeah.
Heard this before?
Yeah, on the actual album as well.
Let's dance.
Yeah.
He needs a modulator.
I know. It's Gorillaz, M1A1.
That's right.
One of my favorite albums ever.
I just wish they would have kept in the part during that song where you hear this wow. It's another keyboard.
Again, you look like a mental patient when you do that.
I think they had a mental patient.
You look like a
doing this.
cat that had a stroke.
That's my favorite part of the song.
I got to ask you, Mr. Creepy.
What?
May I call you Creepy?
Yeah, what?
Creepy. You look like a young person. How old are you?
I'm 25.
You're 25,
There you go.
man. 25.
That's why I called him
years old.
kid.
I know. See.
What up, kid?
Hey, kiddo.
I call everybody kid. Don't be offended, Creepy.
Hey there, sport.
Hello, old sport.
Y'all talking about like zombie movies from what is this, 76? Yeah.
Yeah.
Junior, how you doing?
Pretty sure y'all got some years on me.
Yeah, he's like, you guys expect me to know all this shit?
I know. It's like,
I wasn't even
goddamn.
souping my dad's pants yet.
I know.
This is some old shit.
Do you like your dad?
Yeah.
Okay. Because every time you talk about your dad, you're like, man.
No. Y'all are talking about my dad getting with my mom. That's where I'm going. Yeah.
No, we're talking about your dad getting with your mom. We're talking about romantic shit. We're not talking about sexual things.
I'm glad you saw through that bullshit.
Straight up sauce.
I know. I could tell you never fall for the guy with the candy in the white van. Right?
I see you read minds too. You're a liar.
You're one of the rare people to see through your bullshit, Corey.
You want to come to the closet with me and get some candy?
Got all your favorites.
It is Halloween. No, man, no. I that's another thing. I didn't expect you to be so young when you came, man. Look at you.
Oh, okay. No, actually, Mojo. Okay, this is like an embarrassing, stupid thing. On the meme base where they keep all the different memes up, there's an article for Mr. Creepypasta, and on there they have me listed as a young boy. Like
17, something
like 10.
10.
Man, that would really be some scary shit. 10-year-old that look like you.
I know. 10-year-old kid that knows how to read. What?
Imagine how scary that is. He pops up. He's like, "I'm white and I'm 10 years old." What? On what planet?
Looking like the Chucky doll walking through the door.
Wanna play? I want to see what this is, man. You remember, Tyler the Creator, right?
Yeah.
You know Tyler the Creator. You know, I guess not.
Once again, Corey.
Man, this is your generation now.
He was
Come on.
born yesterday.
I know. You ever heard of Odd Future Wolfgang Kill Them All or whatever? You know.
That's a no,
I know.
Corey.
He's like, he said, what horror story is this? What horror movie is that from?
Yeah. Is that a puzzle? What is that?
No, there's a guy from a band called Odd Future. They're actually on Adult Swim. They have a show called Loiter Squad. You ever heard of this?
No, I don't
No,
know.
your girl knows. She's
She's
back there
hip.
shaking.
She's hip to it.
She's like,
Okay, this is like why this is weird. She is actually up on music and television and all this stuff. I'm sitting back here listening to classical music and jazz, and she's like, I don't know what this is.
wow, opposites do attract. Look at this. You two balance each other out.
There you go.
You teach her how to be old. She teaches you how to be young.
She is the hip to your hop, right?
Yeah. she's the black to your Chinese. Hey now, man, I'm not gonna tell you no more, man. Now shut up.
Quiet, you.
God damn it. You can't take it on. Look at
I know. He is pulling an Allen right now.
He's about to pee on himself.
Damn.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Are you a religious person?
No.
Okay. Would you say you're an atheist?
No.
Agnostic?
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
What about you? You religious? She's like, no, agnostic too. Okay, all right. Well, at least you got that in common. I didn't mean anything bad by that either. She gave me that sarcastic, like, motherfucking.
We asked you that because now we're about to pee in a bucket with a cross in it. No,
Yeah.
it's part of the show.
It's
part
art.
Of it's one of our games we played during the Halloween festivities.
And I'm out.
All Hallows Eve night.
You don't give me the candy, you get pissed with a crucifix. Take that.
Like, you submit that story to me later, guys. I'll see you.
What do I submit that, by the way? I want to see what this is, man. Tyler the Creator is in a band called Goblin.
Oh, okay.
I've never heard of.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, I remember when he formed the band Goblin. I remember. Well, actually, that's his album.
Okay.
Goblin. I don't know what's going on.
Maybe he collaborated. Maybe I don't know. I know. Well, obviously, people have used Goblin's music to,
I don't think so because he got interviewed about it one time,
and they asked him,
and the guy came up. It was a guy doing kind of a joking interview, and he said, "I brought you some things," and one of the things that he brought him was a Goblin soundtrack to something, and he's like, and the guy's white that's doing the interview, but Tyler the Creator's like, oh, nigga, what's this?
Like he had no idea.
He had no idea. You mean this name's already taken?
I thought that was some original shit from my brain.
I was about to sue Peter Jackson for using goblins in his movie.
What the hell? I created that shit.
I was gonna sue that nigga Peter Jackson, man.
That comes from my imagination.
That Hobbit shit, you know? But
I was eating alphabet soup when I came up with that name.
And I think he gave him the movie Goblin.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yo, why is everybody ripping me off, son?
What the fuck?
Shit.
1974. What the shit? That's bullshit.
Motherfucker, I'm an innovator.
You picked this up off of iTunes?
Yeah. Everybody all up on this Goblin dick right here.
LP.
Let's see here. Let's see what this. It's something called Martians versus Goblins. What's this shit?
Okay. Yes.
Why not? Oh, I like it, man.
There you go. That looks creepy.
Mars.
And Lil Wayne's in this too.
Yeah.
Is that Lil Wayne right there?
Yeah. Yeah. You need to learn how to use that moisturizer.
Blood gang, kill 'em all, odd future wolf gang. Kidnap a vampire and drain all his fucking veins. Wolf Grey Jordans uses intestines for the strings. Snatch up.
Well, this would definitely scare white people.
Yeah, it was. It's scaring me already.
Hey, girl, you can come out from under the bed. It's okay. I'll cut the video off.
It's safe.
Rihanna and throw in front of a fucking train and sniff a fucking
Oh, that's the game. That rapper, the game, man.
To a full tank of propane.
No, shit,
He just blew himself up.
I like this shit, man. This is old, but I like it.
Martians versus goblins, goons versus the crooks. And since me and Toon had Viacom shook, I should have got a real ass pirate to do the hook. Maybe Jack Sparrow, maybe Peter Pan's nemesis. My power limitless, like Marco on Sega Genesis. Superhero, mad that Marvel overlooked me, cause Spider-Man and Hulk straight bitch, I'm a motherfucking Mars.
What the fuck? People gotta watch this video, Martians versus Goblins. This shit is terrifying.
It's very appropriate for Halloween, too.
Spending my time trying to read what his shirt said.
I know, shit. Don't do that, man. Fuck, you have a seizure trying to read that shirt the way that camera's shaking. What the fuck?
Said, stop ripping me off, Goblin.
Yeah. Said, read this, Mr. Creepypasta.
Yeah.
For Pennsylvania. What is your favorite Halloween music? Do you have any at all?
Like, no. Like, I watch films, but there's not like like when you were saying like, yeah, this is like horror music. I'm like, what's that?
Yeah.
I don't know what horror music
You
is.
don't? Oh, okay. Well, what's your favorite horror film?
The favorite? Friday the 13th Part 6.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So
six.
you're familiar with the music in that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something you dig, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Any kind of music. It doesn't have to be like a rock band or anything. Yeah.
No, like that's I guess like because I don't know where the music like who does the music in the Friday the 13th films, like, but that's like what I'll probably
Jason Voorhees.
yeah
Yeah.
he
He
does it.
sings-
That's him doing that when he comes out.
beatboxing.
I think he burned himself the day he came up with that. But yeah.
Fuck. What?
Around the woods.
What is that back
Like,
there?
yeah. You need to stay away from forest fires.
But you don't have any favorite Halloween scary music at all? Anything?
No, like I mean, like I listen to Ghostbusters on loop, but like
There you go. Hey, that qualifies.
Something weird in your neighborhood.
Who you call?
If there's something weird
Man.
in your neighborhood, that's the only loop he has on it. There's something weird.
So Ghostbusters, that's a go. Yeah, Ray Park. Yeah, it's Ray Parker. Right?
Ray Park, yeah.
Ray Parker Jr. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ray Park, what's his name in Star Wars?
Ray Park, yeah, the guy who played Darth Maul.
Darth Maul,
he
yeah,
sings
man.
Ghostbusters, yeah.
That's the jam right there. You know what? I played this a long time ago on one of our Halloween shows, but since you like Silent Hill, I'm going to share with you one of the scariest songs that creeps me out. Like, if you ask me to be in a dark room in a house by myself and listen to this soundtrack, much less this song right here, I don't think I could do it. The original Silent Hill has
a great soundtrack.
That's a great soundtrack for Halloween. Mm-hmm. Like, if you ever want to create a spook house or something, just put that soundtrack on.
Play the whole thing.
Have you heard it?
Oh yeah, I love that. I love the music from Silent Hill, dude.
Yeah, my favorite track is that song, "The Bitter Season." You remember that? Ringing those bells and shit, man. Death is upon you.
It's coming for you, creepy. It's Trent Reznor when he fell asleep on his keyboard.
It's so hollow, man.
It is, yeah.
They come in with the voices in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that shit freaks me the fuck out, man. Until I open my mouth and just make this shit just sound stupid.
Everyone listening was getting all chills, and then you did that.
And then I did that.
Yeah, you ruined it.
Okay, I'm gonna shut up. Let me take it back. This is what I used to hear like when I was a kid, and I would be like 7 years old, and I'd be in bed. It'd be dark, and I had to get up to take a piss, and I was scared to do it in the dark, and I had to get to the bathroom in the dark and shit. I mean, I'd be fumbling around.
And you were listening to this music when you were 7 years old?
No, this is music.
I was about to say,
music
wait a minute.
going on
Let's
in my
do
head.
some math here. When the soundtrack come out,
There's a song with
you were like 26.
This is yeah.
Sleeping in your mom's bed.
You want to get up to go pee? No, this is the song I used to play when I knew I had to get up, and that music would kick in. Voices would come in.
How's those voices go, Corey?
They go like, pee, Corey. Pee, Corey.
Pee on me. What happened? Who did this? Who's there?
My teddy bear's talking to us. Pee on me, Corey. I like it.
Who does this? Who does this, Corey?
Can you imagine this sit while my teddy bear's talking to me? Corey, pee on me. I like to be peed on. Shut up, Teddy. It's okay. Do you have to shit? Let it go. Shut up. Shut up.
You see how creative he is with teddy bear names?
Yeah.
Teddy. That's the best he can come up with.
Teddy. I know what my friend I was having a sleepover with.
Who did this, Corey, again? Who does the actual music?
Ugafuchi Murudugi.
Yeah, you keep,
No, I don't know.
either of those guys, keep it that way next time. Yeah.
I should have known better. I'm glad I fucked it up for you. You and your jokes, son of a bitch.
Rakafiji?
Rakafiji.
Yeah. Toshiba products, they did that. Keep it that way.
Sony Kawasaki.
Sony Records, they did that. Keep it that way.
Is that your mother's name? No, I'm sorry, that's Japanese. Oh, so now see, that's some racist shit right there. That ain't right. That ain't right. Now, you need to tell me to shut the fuck up, man. Go ahead, tell me. Shut the fuck up.
There you go.
Man. I'm having fun with you guys. Thank you for coming by. I really
thanks
appreciate
for getting
that.
into the
Thanks
vibe
to have me on here, guys.
Yeah.
No,
it's a lot of fun.
No, I know you can tell I didn't expect this shit. Yeah. Sounds so professional with those emails, didn't I? Yeah. I eagerly await your presence. Let's see here, man.
I wish you had the Resident Evil. I think it's from the Resident Evil 2 game. I think we played that, but let me see.
Yeah, we did, but let me see, man. Video game music has gotten scary. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know about.
Yeah, that's the thing. God, there's so many soundtracks I wish I could remember right now. Just video games I played that really creep me the hell out.
Oh,
but yeah, I think it's called Safe Room, or
let me see. Yeah, I think Safe Room's like one of the new ones. That just came out like last month, I think.
Well, I'm not sure if we're talking about the same thing. It's Resident Evil 2. It's a track. that whenever you went in to save your shit,
gotcha.
the music that played in that room always like creeped me the hell out.
Save room, maybe?
I think it's called Save Room. Yeah. I thought I put it on my.
Oh, here it is.
Is that it? Okay.
Really?
Yeah. They're taking you back, huh, Creepy? Yeah.
I use this music sometimes. Like I use a cover of this song.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I actually heard you use a cover of a Silent Hill song.
Yeah.
It's from Silent Hill 2.
He usually does his own like compositions for covers for a lot of games. So because we like the music and a lot of people recognize music, so he'll do covers of them. This is one of them that he did.
Really?
Yeah, he did one of this song. He loves Silent Hill, so we do a lot of those too.
Wow. So you would say we have some excellent taste.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, we're not so stupid.
Yeah.
You know,
We look
we
it,
know
but
some
we're not-
things. I know.
These brains is works.
I be smarts.
I like the smarts.
I thanks. Thanks what? I don't know.
He's like, I thought these guys were smart.
Yeah, so when this shit in.
Oh, man. You don't have to play it all.
Okay, damn. All right, I'm
Jesus
sorry. This is the song that I heard because I used to love this track. This is a song that I heard you play in one of your stories, and you actually got me back into listening to it. Let me see if I can find it.
You mean you ever got out of listening to this soundtrack?
What's that?
You ever fell out of listening to the soundtrack?
Fell out of?
Yeah.
No.
You stopped listening to the soundtrack at some point?
No, I did not. Okay, no, sir.
He's covering an ass right now. He just
sorry.
wait a minute. But you said at the beginning of this,
You mean you stopped listening to this? Motherfucker, I know I didn't hear you say that. No, sir.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Sorry. Let me see. This is it, I think. He played this in one of his.
Oh,
his
it's
stories.
great. Yeah.
It scared me and it made me cry.
They use this in the movie, right?
They use it in the movie, yeah.
It's the one of the songs they use. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love this song.
That's great.
I think the word they use for this is haunting.
I can say ambient.
This is that kind of shit with, whenever I see creepy little girls, this is the
Yeah,
song.
they're singing in the background.
Will you quit following me?
They keep going and going. That's awesome.
I know, man.
Damn. I wish I knew the song that was in the 2001 Space Odyssey, the one that they used for the Godzilla. Because I was like, that is crazy where you hear that. Oh,
Sound like you're trying to remember something. What's that guy's name?
That's what, yeah,
It's like you're losing air.
I think that's what the song's called. I can't remember. Yeah,
Is that what the name of it is?
yeah, it's fucking creepy as hell, man.
Type that into Google, maybe find it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Do that.
Your hand just falls asleep on the A button.
They go real high.
Let's see here. You know what? Before we get into, because we're gonna get in probably something a little more lighthearted in a little bit.
Well, we haven't been doing anything like that.
Oh no! Believe it or not, this has been the scary part of the show.
Yeah, that's about as scary as we're gonna get.
Yeah. I don't know. Should we have our feast now, or should we actually have you read a story first? What do you want to do, Carl?
I'd say let him do it. I don't want to eat while he's telling his story.
Well, we
That's
wouldn't
the
eat while he's doing the story. We're not
Okay.
gonna eat all. We're not gonna eat a whole lot either.
thing. Okay.
You know, I
Well,
don't- before we get into, I'll tell you what we can do. We talked about some good Halloween memories. You have any good Halloween memories, Mr. Creepypasta?
I have hardly any good memories at all.
Are you big into Halloween at all?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay. I was about to say, yeah.
No,
That's what they call sarcasm.
It's like, yeah, they need to make that damn sarcasm button on the computer so I know. I'm like, what the fuck?
No. I don't really see. The thing is, like on actual Halloween, I hardly do any kind of crap like at all. Like I don't really have any kind of like Halloween parties and stuff, especially since I've been doing this because like the entirety of October is just plotting out stories, reading stories, editing stories, and stuff like that. I can tell you that like this last weekend was pretty fun. Like what we did for Halloween.
What'd you do?
We were at well, this is our Halloween thing.
What did you do?
Well, let me tell you. we went over to the Six Flags over in San Antonio. The Fright Fest they have over there.
Yeah,
it's actually really good. They're making it a lot bigger. Like I guess they're trying to compete with like some of the other really big ones because now they have these huge areas that are just done up to be like free haunted house areas that just have people walking around scaring the shit out of you. It's fantastic. Like this whole like 50s area they covered they painted over all the windows, they crashed cars into shit. They have blood all over the place and just guys dressed up as zombies just wandering the streets. It's fantastic. And they're still playing the old 50s music. It's
Really?
eerie as shit. Yeah.
Did they have the cars? Now, when you say they painted it up, like, did they paint it like a black and white type of?
Well, like the whole town, like normally is all happy-go-lucky 50s diners and all that shit. But they have cars like crashed into doors, like they just like ran off the road and veered off, and like there's smoke coming out of them still and all that, and all the windows are still leaking blood, and you know some of them still have guys in them, but you don't know that until you walk by and they're like bashing on the windows trying to get at you, it's great.
Wow.
Actually.
Do they have like an old zombie black man on the corner doing doo-wop?
Do-wop, do-wop.
Doo-wop, do the wee. Bottom jaw falls off.
That's some scary shit.
I didn't tell you. Of course, I didn't tell you. I just met you. But I was telling you about the Halloween party that I went to.
Yeah. You were telling me
weekend,
about
man.
that place that was held at. Which, first off, though, I got to say, I liked your mask. I saw your weird-ass skeleton mask.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
What the hell? Did you make that? Or
I did.
Okay.
I made that. I wore it 2 years ago.
That's
Actually, did I wear it last year? No, I didn't wear it last year, but I wore it 2 years ago, and I decided to pull it back out.
Yeah.
I made a Grim Reaper costume, and I made the mask myself. It was a kind of a caricature skeleton face, and if I wear the right stuff with it, the jaw swings so it freaks people out.
That's what it looked like. It looked like almost like one of those animatics that you'd see for like Nightmare Before Christmas or something. Like it kind of had a Tim Burton-ish.
Oh yeah,
look to it.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. So I had a Grim Reaper robe and all that kind of stuff, and I lost it. So this year I just put a stocking cap over my face and put a hoodie on and just ran around as hipster death, I guess.
That's scary. Hey, a black guy in a hoodie, that's scary enough for me.
Emo death.
Careful,
Yeah.
Don't come walking down my street.
And the mask is cool because when I wear it, I was at a bar one time, and so no one can tell where I'm staring or where I'm looking. And I was actually drinking through the mask. I had like fishnet stockings on, so it had little holes in there. So I had to drink beer with a straw, but I could drink it. And so people saw me drinking through the straw, and they would see me just standing there. They didn't know where I was looking. One girl came up, and she actually put her finger up between the mouth of the mask, and she didn't know I saw her. So when she did that, I went like, "Oh!" And she was like, and she screamed so loud in the bar. But it was cool. It was kind of freaking people out, even though it was kind of cartoonish. I have to tell people this much. I tried to make another mask this year. That's why I pulled the old one out. I said, I'm gonna do a better one.
Yeah.
A bigger, better mask this year. And I used Super Sculpey for the mask I did the year before. Don't use Sculpey. Regular Sculpey,
Yeah.
I put that shit. So I sculpted the mask, and it was hard to do. It didn't sculpt very well. I put that shit in the oven. I came out, and that shit crumbled like fucking cookies, man. I picked it up. It looked like dust, man.
It looked like your blue meth that you made during the Breaking Bad episode.
Worse than that. Shit looked like some raw fucking
Oh my
biscuit
God.
dough that just cooked too long.
Did you try to videotape that? Did you?
No, I did not. So I knew I was gonna fuck that up
That
from
would've
the
been
very beginning. But yeah, and I got a funny story to tell you about a mask after this. But I went to this party, and the party. I went to a party where they were not trying to be scary at all. It was just a bunch of drunk people having drinks, wearing crazy costumes. But the atmosphere felt like, you know what? If somebody just snapped, or if a killer just decided to wander in here, this could be a real horror movie. The place was an old hotel, and the person who was the landlord over it now, there were office buildings now, the bottom floor of this hotel building, and he's renovating it. So he just said, you know what? While we're renovating, I'm just gonna throw a party, which means that in the dim lights and all the weird lights that they had, there's all these. It's like a maze. There's all these rooms where you just wander into, Some of them are dead ends. And you don't know where you're going.
It's like The Shining.
It's like, yeah, it's some shit like that. And there are places, like I was looking for the bathroom, and I went down a dark corridor where I was like, you know what? There's nobody down here with me. If somebody decided to make me the first victim, they could do it, and I'd be the black guy that dies first for doing something stupid. I'll be right back. I'm gonna take a leak. You know, who there? You know,
Who there? Who there?
You know, black people. You know, black people. You know, at first, you know, I could have the most professional voice. Excuse me, I'm going to urinate. I shall return. And then when I get in the dark and I hear those noises in the shadow. Who there? Who there? Who that be? For real. Hey, quit playing.
Hey, Tyrone, is that you? Yeah. Don't fuck around, Tyrone. Come on, man. Hey, I got pee.
Until the moment, like, I'm staring straight ahead, and out of nowhere, like, the killer's all the way up on me, like, you know, stabs me.
Breathing down your neck.
Yeah, exactly.
Ouch.
And I can't have a dignified death. I have to put that one last racial saying in there.
Yeah.
Ooh, motherfucker.
Jive ass turkey.
Sucker.
Damn.
But it was scary, man. I was like, they should make this a haunted house. I scared myself. I was like, I'm just gonna wander around in the rooms and act like somebody's chasing me and shit. It was like it really was like some survival horror shit.
Yeah.
Man. You want to do a survival horror live action setting? Put it in a place like that. Narrow corridors, dead ends, dark spaces.
We should shoot something there along with that neighborhood I was in when I was telling you.
Oh,
about
that with the abandoned house.
Yeah. Well, this weekend I went to I went to a party. I went to a Halloween party at a friend's. Her name is Kayla. She's actually been on our site before, but her neighborhood is like the worst ghetto you will ever see. It's one of those neighborhoods where every single house has a chain link fence in their front yard. You normally you see that shit in the backyard, but this has like you see a huge like 10-foot gate like chain link fence around houses because it's just prone to robberies and crime or whatever. But when we pulled up to park there on one of the streets, we noticed there was a house right in front of us where we parked in front of, where you can tell this house had been sitting there. It'd been abandoned because like they had like trees that were almost covering what would have been the back porch. You see trees just completely, it looked like it was swallowing up the house. Because it hadn't been kept. In the lawn, the grass looked like it was 10 feet tall because you'd see like chairs, like they looked like wind had just blown chairs all over for the past 10 years. The chairs used to be white because you could see still some of the white paint, but you know they had leaves and stuff growing all in between. And we were looking, it was like we were looking at this house, and I was like, God damn, how come we don't go and party in there? How come we don't jump
Because you're a
fence
grown ass robot.
Still,
Let's go have a seance.
I know. Let's go have a seance.
We should break in and play Spin the Bottle.
Well, me and my buddy. Yeah, let's you and I play Spin the Bottle
I
tonight.
dare you to make out with me.
Tonight. Yeah. We open up the closet and all these skeletons come piling out. Yeah.
Turn the Scooby-Doo all of a sudden.
But man, that's what it looked like. It looked like something out of a Scooby-Doo cartoon. You even heard the wind go.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, wow, how come nobody's used this in a horror film yet?
That was your friend whispering in your ear.
That was it. Yeah, he was like,
Blowing in your ear.
Tonight's the night. Oh shit! but no, you were telling me about that. I saw you actually posted some video, and I saw the video of how long those hallways were because I was like, what kind of fucking house did your friend have that he had these long, like never-ending hallways filled with people in costumes? You know?
Yeah, it was like a tracking shot going down there, man.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah, I even thought, I said, okay, nobody's gonna start chasing people through here. I start to wait for women to just go off by themselves, go to the bathroom, and just follow them and just stand there looking at them. You know,
He was waiting inside the toilet bowl. Yeah. Had a camera and everything just to capture it.
There was a hand already sticking out with toilet paper. Wipe your ass,
TP
ma'am.
for your bunghole.
Yeah. I have TP for your
Yes.
bumhole.
It's the mummy wrapping.
The yummy mummy.
Yummy mummy.
But yeah, I wanted to just follow people, just stare at them in the darkness and shit, add to the atmosphere. I tell you, man, before we move on, I think I've told the story before. I'm going to tell you, since we're on the subject of costumes and masks, did you ever have a costume that freaked anybody out? Like, I know I said my costume freaked people out. We told a story about him with a Dennis Rodman mask that we went to a party with.
Yeah.
He put a hoodie on that and scared the fuck out of people.
I'm surprised I didn't get shot that night. But that was creepy. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody he went to, he would just stand by girls and he wouldn't do anything. He just be like, could you get away from me?
Yeah, like, who are you? Then it was, get away from me. It's not really different than any other night I have, but you know.
I'll show you what this mask looks like.
I'm actually kind of eager to see this.
You know what? And you should somehow. I was like, I would love if you ever do one of your stories again. Try to find a way to do it with that mask, just staring at your audience all fucking night long. Make sure it's a long story too.
Next convention I go to, like, screw my MCP mask. I'm wearing one of those.
Yeah. But let me.
Oh my God.
Damn. Look at
Dennis Rodman is broke, by the way. So if you decide to use that, he ain't coming after you.
No, that's why he is coming after you, because he is broke.
He can't afford the lawyers though.
That's a realist mask right there.
Yeah.
Let me see. There's a. I thought that was a better look of it, but so I had this mask when I was a kid. It was a fishman mask. But it was like a cartoony fishman mask. It had these really big yellow eyes that were bulging out, these big red lips, and it had fur, but it was like that green matted fur all over the back of the head, and it had these like little spikes around it. I guess they were supposed to be like scales or something. But I always thought it was funny. And I cut the mouth out too. I cut the mouth part out so I could actually breathe better. But every now and then, if I like stuck my tongue out, like, it freaked people out. And for some reason, I thought it was funny, but that mask would freak people out. My mother one time, she was chopping carrots, and I was on the floor, and I had that mask on, and all she saw were those eyes and that green afro. All you heard was chop, 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 and it just stopped. You didn't hear anything else, and she just froze. and after that, after she got her composure, like, boy, give me that. But she sometimes she would take that mask away from me because she didn't want me scaring people with it. But I had it one day, and I was about 16 at the time. I'd found it. I didn't really do anything with it. I just put it under my bed. But I had my nephew, and my nephew kept running in and out. And I was trying to take a nap, and I told my mother, he would come in and open the door, Corey, and shut it and run back out. I said, Victor, stop. Corey! And I told my mother, I said, Mama, he's coming in here bothering me. Can you please you shouldn't be sleeping in the middle of the day anyway. You need to get your behind up. Let him do what he want to do. Leave that boy alone. I said, all right, I'm gonna fix both y'all's asses. And so I took that mask out, and I had a lamp next to my desk. The lampshade was off. It was just a light bulb. And I put it on that lampshade, and I put my hand underneath it. and I just waited. I just laid down like this when my hand was underneath it. And he came in through the door. He opened up. He said, Cut! And he just froze too. When he saw that mask up there, and I just laid down. I didn't do anything. And then while I was still laying down, I made that mask turn around real quick like this. and he was like, true horror movie shit, like people get terrified. I'm like, no, please.
Oh man!
And then I just start moving that mouth. I didn't even make any noise. I just said, he's like, and just ran out the room.
Oh my God!
And he ran to his father. He was like, Daddy! And the father was laughing. My brother was like, what happened? What scared you? And he's like, what did you get him, Corey? And I was like, my mother like, you two big motherfuckers in here scaring my baby like that. Y'all know better. Y'all should be grown enough.
Oh my God!
You couldn't tell them to quit fucking with me, but
that's crazy. I like the. You remember that one year you were over at my place and I had that cat and I had that Grim Reaper mask. We had a Grim Reaper mask that looked like something out of a movie. It looked really cool, realistic, and I showed it to Corey. And I remember Corey put on the mask and we had this long hallway. And we just decided to walk out in the hallway, and we noticed my cat was just walking, and my cat turned around and looked at us, and Corey had this mask on, and then Corey slowly started to creep up towards the cat, and the cat all of a sudden realized what he was looking at. Like, I've seen this guy before, and it was fucking death. And the cat just stopped, like, just paralyzed, just looking, and then slowly, like, if you've ever seen a cat like on a prowl, like about to like pounce on a bird or something or a squirrel, this cat was walking backwards, like using that same slow movement of slowly walking out of frame.
That cat heard that music playing.
Yeah, I know. And just the guy looked terrified. Yeah.
That cat. Thing is, that cat was looking, just walking slow, and that cat was like, "Shit, I'm on my last life."
I know. Shit. And then the cat burst out like Corey's mom. Wait, what the fuck? What the shit?
But the thing is, I walked away. Do you remember this? And I turned around because I felt like that something was still there. I turned around and looked, and that cat was looking from behind a couch and was still staring at me. And he had me laughing. Cole said, "That cat knows death is upon him." And that's what that cat looked like. That cat was looking like, shit, should I try to bargain for my last laugh? Should I plead?
Yeah, that cat had like no personality to it as long as I had it until that night when it was just like, I'm fucked.
That cat looked like, shit, should I tell him I suck his dick?
Shit just got real.
I don't want to die.
Take that motherfucker who don't feed me over there. Take that brown motherfucker. Oh my god, I love that shit though. When you talk about just scaring people, I had an incident with this friend of mine. He was a grandfather. He was an old guy, and I consider him like I consider him like my grandfather. But the thing is, this guy he would always love, and I can't remember if he'd do it around Halloween because he did it a lot. He just had a thing for fucking around, like just trying to scare the shit out of us. Just with any opportunity he had, he used to just like talk to us, and all of a sudden, like he had a false tooth, like he had two of them, but they were like in both different sides of his mouth, where he just telling us a story, and then all of a sudden he'd stop and he'd just stare at us, and we we're just like, well, what the fuck's going on? You just stopped your story, and then he would somehow manage to take his tongue and remove his teeth to where they just fell out like a tray coming out of his mouth, and he just go, "Ugh." And we were just like, whoa! I remember the first time I saw it, I never saw it. I just see these two teeth on wires come out of his mouth like, boom, like a pop-up book, and you're like, what the shit? Oh, and then he smiled to where you could see his gums, and his gums are showing with his Joker smile.
Oh, Jesus.
His teeth were just sticking. And I don't know why. I don't know why he did it.
You go and tell, Mom, Grandpa's scaring me again. And your mom tells you, sweetheart, Grandpa died last night.
Well, actually, he did have a wife who was living, and I loved her because she was like the Mo of the relationship, where my friend would be like, Grandma just put out his teeth in front of us, scaring the hell out of us. And she'd be like, what? She'd see her. She wouldn't make any noise. You just see her like running, like almost like speed walking towards him, look at him, and then with her hand, slap him in the back of the head, just went, psh, and he's like, God damn it. And every time she did something, she just look at him and slap the shit out of him in the back of his bald head. And he had like the stringy ass hair that he combed down, and when she slapped him, you see like a big chunk of white hair just like sticking out like he was caught in a windstorm. And he was just like, God damn it. But he every once in a while he would have this I don't know if you ever seen those translucent masks.
Yo, yes.
And he had one that was in the shape of an already like withered old man. And there was moments where, whenever we needed to go somewhere, we had to go, hey, Grandpa, you gotta take us to the store, get something to eat. And one time he had this huge staircase, right? Mm-hmm. That had this brown carpeting, had these wooden panels on the side of when you walk up the staircase. So it was like super dark. And there's a big velvet painting of Jesus in the back on the cross. So it looked like something like out of a straight up horror film, because this velvet painting was huge. It covered the wall right when you're looking up the stairs. And we were calling, we were like, hey, gotta get something to eat. Let's go. And we're just standing there looking up at the staircase. And then we see him walk out. And he is wearing nothing but tidy whities, a wife beater, and this fucking old man mask. And we're just looking up and we're just like, holy fuck. Because he didn't look like himself. He looked like a fucking serial killer from hell, just standing up there.
A serial killer from hell. Not just to be a serial killer, but from hell.
He didn't look, because when he puts on pants, he looks like he weighs like 200 pounds. With him without no pants, he looks like a skeleton. He had the skinny legs with a big fat torso
And a little dick.
and bulge was coming out of his tidy whities, which weren't all that white. And he was wearing this old man wrinkled mask that looked like it was smiling. So we see this image of this guy with his old ass legs and this fucking mask and tidy whities just staring at us, smiling down. And we were just like paralyzed, looking up, going, just because it was dark. And that fucking picture of Jesus in the background on the cross didn't help.
Repent, my son.
And we were just like, holy
old
fuck.
balls go in your mouth.
Holy fuck, I know. Oh, yeah. And I think one of his balls did fall out, but yeah. And then he would just walk back in the room. And we were just looking at it like, what the fuck? Is this guy crazy? What the fuck? And then he'd come out in his normal clothes. Let's go, guys. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck just happened? There's no explanation to any of this. We were just looking at each other like, did he just come out in his fucking underwear with a mask on? What the shit?
And then his wife would come out and be like,
I know.
quit fucking with those kids.
Slap in the back of the fucking head. Why you
flying over?
chowder head?
Hey, numbskull.
Yeah.
Quit fucking with these kids and get to work.
Go feed those kids.
Hey, here's a good way to lead up into the scary story, man.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any real short, like I'm talking about short, just real creepy experiences that you've seen in your life?
Who, me?
No.
You asking me?
No, the thing behind you.
Yeah. You know what?
You said you had a story that you want to
I had
save.
a UFO experience, and I'll keep it short and brief. But yeah, one night we were out at my buddy's place. Actually, I consider him like a cousin, and he has and he lives out in this farm area in Texas. I wish I could remember. It was so long ago. But it looked like something out of a movie where his farmland, it was like a small house, a lot of cars, like pastures, like as far as the eye can see. And he lived next to this, it was like this waterfall that was right next to his house that was pretty damn steep, that led into a creek. And one night we were hanging out, and he just got a telescope. So in the family, we were out there just hanging out with the family. So the family's in the house drinking, getting drunk, fucking playing dominoes or whatever. And me and my cousin are out. Well, me and my buddy are out looking up at the stars with our new telescope. And I noticed when I was looking through the telescope, I mean, it was a night where it was clear. You can almost see you could see the Milky Way. You could see every fucking star in the sky. And we noticed this one star. And I was like, wow, that's like a really like blue looking star out there. That's pretty crazy. He looked at it, and I was like, yeah, that's bright as hell. And looked at it again, and I noticed while I was looking at it, the light all of a sudden turned red. But it turned red from like the light. It was like I've never seen we're all used to seeing lights turn. Mm-hmm. This turned in a weird way to where it almost expanded from the inside out. So when the light turned to this color, we were just like, all right. And we started noticing this star was getting closer and closer. And I was like, is this us? I mean, it's like, are we, is this us? I mean, this thing is like heading right towards us, right? I looked at him. He's like, yeah, dude, it's fucking getting closer. What the hell? And we kept looking at it, trying to make out what it was. We were like, is it a plane or is it a helicopter? What's going on? But there was absolutely no sound, no noise out there. A few minutes later, it seemed like it was hovering right over us to where the light wasn't as bright, but we can tell it was still changing. It turned into like a weird kind of aqua green. But the only thing that we could notice was that the shape of it was an outline of a triangle, but it was pitch black. And we could tell this because it was covering up the rest of the sky. And it was right next to us was a huge oak tree, right? And it was in full blossom. And the thing is that it looked like it was hovering right over the tree, yet we were standing there looking at it going, what the fuck is this? And why is it making any noise? And as soon as we were just like, okay, my cousin freaked out and he went to go run to go tell somebody. I'm looking at it and I'm starting to see it move, and it's moving behind the tree. So I'm like, okay, whatever this thing is, I got to go chase after it. So I start running towards the back of the house, and I noticed the thing start to move over the tree. You still can't hear a single thing. And I stopped because all of a sudden my uncle had 2 Doberman pinchers in the backyard, and they started to freak the fuck out so hardcore that they made me stop dead in my tracks and just look at this thing just kind of move over. And I was like, okay, I'm not fucking running back there. I don't want to get the dogs look like they're about to jump the fence and attack me. So I run to the other side. My cousin comes out. He doesn't bring anybody else out. And I'm like, dude, it's moving around the house. Let's go. We start running. And then there was nothing there. There was absolutely nothing there except just a big bright, just blackness with stars. And to this day, we remind each other every once in a while if what we actually thought we saw was actually there or not. And to this day, he's still like, I don't know what that was. And honestly, I don't even tell anybody that story half the time because I don't want to think I'm crazy. So,
well, how much do you have to smoke and drink that night?
Well, that was the fun part. Yeah, yeah. But
hey, man, you see that shit? Yeah, man.
But I mean, I'm telling you, it was weird because I couldn't make out that it was a triangle, and the fact that there was no wind or nothing, like even it looked like it was like hovering right over the tree, and you couldn't hear any sound from the leaves. It was like dead silence. I've never had a situation like that where you're just outside and didn't hear a goddamn thing.
Now, normally, you know what I do. Normally, I would go to there's a reasonable explanation for this.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you can explain the unexplainable, please attempt to do so.
But even, I don't attempt to explain unexplainable. I just say some things are unexplained, but there's not always a paranormal explanation for it. But
this isn't a paranormal.
But in the spirit of Halloween, I'm going to let you have this one.
All right. Creepy?
No, honestly, I'm with you, Corey. Like, everything that I've ever had, like, that kind of happened, like, because there was this one person I used to know who used to claim that she was a witch. And she would do things that were pretty freaky. I mean, like, she could,
okay.
Most guys like when freaky things.
Freaky deaky?
Like, she could walk out to a dog. We don't know. That, like, as far as we know, is it a completely untrained dog, and she could teach it. She could have it speak and stop, move where she wanted to. Mm-hmm. Things like that. Things what she could explain were with magic, you can control things that don't have any kind of cognition to who they are.
Mm-hmm. I think the dog whisperer has this magic.
Well, certain things like that, certain things that that would be able to move around when you're not paying attention. Like I could be with her in her room talking to her, and there would be these dolls that she would have, just in her room, and there would be this doll up on the top shelf. And I would talk to her for a little bit, and be on the bottom shelf. Or different things that would just kind of shift around that she would explain as, there are certain spirit things that are around here, or certain spirits that are imbued in her dolls that she can do herself.
Okay, but let me stop you though. You were in the room, and you noticed there was a doll at one point was on the top of the shelf.
Yeah, there were 3 dolls that she had that she specifically said these 3 have spirits in them, and they would shift around in the bookshelves.
And you noticed them shift while you were there.
Well, I wouldn't see them move. I could not see them move when they were there, but when if you're not looking at it, supposedly, then they would shift over to another location. And that did happen a couple times. I could see them at the top. I would do something around in the room. They would be on a different shelf because it was like this 9-piece shelf piece. They would change around to which shelf they were in.
Wow.
I kind of assume maybe it was her brother or her fucking with me at a specific point whenever I'm not paying attention to the dolls.
Yeah.
I assume that this dog, maybe she happened to know about it. She just didn't tell me about it. It was trained in some way that she knew how to be able to command the dog even though it wasn't hers.
Yeah.
Those are explainable things. I just choose to go with that explanation. It kind of could
Now,
have been the other way
here's
around.
the thing, though. This wall that they were on, was there a door or a closet
There is a
anywhere
door behind me that they had like a Jack and Jill bedroom. So there was this bathroom that led over to her brother. So I suppose he could have been fucking with me whenever I'm not looking. I could have been looking in a different direction, and then he comes through and changes.
It's funny how these dolls can move, but you never see them get up and walk.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Now, what time of the day was it when you noticed these dolls moving? Was it the evening?
I think
was
it was 4:42.
Okay, 4:42 in
That's
the
a
PM.
specific time right there.
Okay.
Too. No, you know, most people approximate 4:45, 5 o'clock.
But here's the thing, though. 4:42. That would mean there's a good chance that her little brother was at school. School usually.
I don't have a clue what time do these things move around.
So if he's at school, how can these dolls move?
It was June.
Oh. I didn't pay attention to that part.
It was summertime. Yeah.
Spring break.
That kid was like you, no class.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
He's gonna act like he believes this shit. He doesn't.
That sounds like the story I was telling you, Corey, one year about that cross in my buddy's carpet that kept moving in different spots. And he kept going, look, come here, I'm going to show you this. This guy that I knew is a friend of mine. He lived in this house where in his living room, he had like this old ass like shag rug that came with the house like in the 70s. And there was somehow, it looked like a small black cross on the carpet. And he was like, now look at this cross and just notice where it is. I'm going to put something here to give it a reference to so we know exactly where it is because this is something I can't explain. So I'd be like, all right. And we now step over here. And I'd be like not a few feet away from where we were. So I know nothing is going on. Nobody's like fucking around with a mark or anything. And he's like, no, let's go back. I'd go back and it was not in that same area. It was somewhere else. And this went on about 4 times because he was just telling me, I can't explain it. It's fucking weird. Like he said that his parents, like they were weirded out by it and had a priest come and bless the house just in case. And because it just freaked him out too much. Yeah. And to this day, I'm like, I don't know. I was like, if this is a trick, I don't know how you do it because I went and I tried to scrub out the cross with just, anything I could find, just to see if it was like a sticker that my friends were fucking with me, just throwing on the floor.
Yeah.
Not the case.
Huh. I mean, nobody can explain it. I think it's bullshit, but nobody can explain it.
I understand that position, but there was 2 other people in the room, and we were both just kind of baffled by it. We didn't say. The funny thing is like the way we all reacted to it, just like the UFO experience. Mm-hmm. We walked away from it like it was like we witnessed a crime. And it's just something that, maybe we shouldn't talk about. It was an odd feeling in the room.
No, I think you can talk about it, but I really do think that there is an explanation for it.
Yeah.
Just because you can't explain it doesn't mean that there's some ghost, demon, or alien doing it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's fun to think about, but, the reality is people is just like with, excuse me to those people. It's just belief from us. Like people who want to believe that God is talking to them. God talks to them. God should be talking to me. It's like God.
I don't know. I talk to you, and half the time I'm like,
I don't even believe that shit you say.
I'm like Creepypasta over here. I see your bullshit.
Yeah. I don't believe in you no more. I think people who want to see these things, they see these things. People who don't, they don't see them. I think your mind plays tricks on you when you really want to see something.
So somebody was playing on all 3 of our minds that particular time.
And I do think that there's a point where you can be around somebody, you can influence somebody to say what you want them to say and vice versa. I mean, call it a very mild form of mass hysteria. People who want to be scared and want to believe something happened, they'll agree with you. Yeah, I saw something, man. Yeah, I know what he's talking about. Some weird was happening when they really didn't see it. And see, people get insulted because people feel like you call them a liar, and I'm not calling you a liar. Yeah, you
son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. You calling me a liar?
I do that all the time. Stop lying.